Okay, so let's get a little bit cozy. I did wipe off the top just for appearances, baby. Also, it's a perfect time to just rest. Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my snowy backyard. Today is December the 9th, and we have had our second snow. Y'all won't see this video till I think the 15th, but just know on December the 9th, we are getting snow like regularly. It is still in our forecast. 2 days now. We have 2 more days of snow in our forecast. It's gonna be a few days from now, but OMG. Anyway, we're in the house. We're probably gonna be in the house for a while at this point, but I figured today I can show you what I do have going on in the house and tell you what I'm planning to do during the winter in order to prepare for the spring. And so we have a good amount of stuff going on in the house, and I don't even have everything up, mostly because I feel like I need to take a bit of a break. I mentioned it over here. I'm doing Vlogmas on my vlogging channel. So until that's over, we're not doing just a whole bunch. And when I say that, we just haven't put up the hydroponic systems. But we're gonna talk about hydroponic systems today. We're gonna talk about the things you can do during winter. So like if you already have a garden and you wanna prepare for the spring, or if you don't have a garden and you're like, okay, I'm gonna garden next year, what do I need to do? We're gonna talk about all of that today. We are. And I'm very excited to talk about it because honestly, I'm very excited to do it. And because we're getting such weather this year, I'm getting to start a little bit early. I normally start in January, and you know, we started seeds together last week. Very excited about that. I also need to start my herbs. Completely forgot about herbs. So I'll be starting rosemary, oregano, and thyme. So I'm actually, it's not a bad thing other than that I'm cold, that our weather is starting to get cold earlier because I can start working on my spring plans earlier. So I have some things down here in the floor that we're gonna talk about too. So like my seeds, the seed catalogs, which I don't have a lot of this year. I didn't even ask for. They sent this one on their own because I don't plan on ordering a lot of seeds this year. That whole thing is full of seeds. I have a whole box full of seeds that were gifted to me. I just don't feel like I need to order any more seeds. We're also gonna discuss some hydroponic systems. I have 3 right now. Like I said, none of them are set up. But aside from planting from the garden, there is something else that I'm planning on doing. And I want to tell you about that first. And I also want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare has classes for creative professionals, me, hobbyists, me, and everybody in between. I was super excited when Skillshare reached out to me because if you know me, like I think you know me, I can procrastinate on things that do not seem easy to me. And we all know content creation was not supposed to be my full-time job, but here we are. So since this is now my trajectory, I'm trying to learn everything I can. So that's everything from editing, e-commerce, growing and creating my brand. Skillshare is a good platform for that because I can take classes whenever and wherever I am. Anywho, there are a few things that I really want to do during the winter as it relates to this channel. And the first thing on that list is offering merch. But guess what, y'all? I have already created 4 designs. It has been on my to-do list for a while now, and that's thanks to Skillshare. They have so many creative professional classes, but I started with the Shopify e-commerce for beginners, and I was able to start this class and take breaks in between whenever I needed to. The teacher, he spoke to us like he was in the room with us. He encouraged us to go ahead, start our Shopify store, and to follow along as he was teaching. I really did like that part because I could pause it and play it as I was learning how to set up my Shopify store. I was very intimidated by this whole process, y'all. But the class that I took made this feel so much less scary. The first day I started this class, I pivoted my whole entire day. I had a plan for the day, but I got so inspired and so motivated to get this done. It helped me get the scary thing done. And now I am several steps closer to offering the merch that some of you have been asking for soon. This has honestly been a very inspiring and motivating experience for me. So if you have that thing that you've been putting off, or you want to learn a skill, or you have a friend or a family member that wants to learn that, Skillshare is an awesome gift to give yourself, friends, or family members. Skillshare is here with an offer. The first 500 people to use my link or to scan the QR code will receive a 1-month trial of Skillshare. Plus, you can gift Skillshare to friends and family members. Go ahead, get started today. All the information that you need is down in my description, and I want to thank Skillshare once again for sponsoring this video. But now, let's go see what I have going on in the house right now. Let's talk about the things that I plan to do, and let's talk about like getting ready for spring, y'all. So the first thing, and y'all know I had got out of mushrooms for a while. I was taking a break, but we already have pinning mushrooms. And we have 4 blocks. They kind of forced me to get myself ready because they started growing down in my laundry room. And so I've been growing mushrooms maybe for a year now. I think it's maybe been a year. And I do grow them inside. I don't grow them outside. I simply have a humidifier at the bottom of this tent, which I got off of Amazon. I buy my blocks locally. I found someone who does mushroom substrate, but there are other places if you Google online where you can find them. And then I just have a humidifier down here that I purchased from the store. So that gives you the humidity that you need to grow mushrooms. And I am growing oyster mushrooms. I have grown several different mushrooms, but I want to learn each mushroom separately because one thing about me, I'm gonna get nervous. I have anxiety if you're new here. I don't talk about it much on the channel anymore. So anyway, one thing about me, I'm gonna get nervous if it's a mushroom I have not seen before, if I'm not sure they picked the wrong spores, I'm gonna get nervous, y'all. So right now I have 4 bags of oyster mushrooms. I dehydrate them and I put them in jars. I could have put them in the refrigerator, so I could have went and got the 4 from her. She's a little ways away. And her husband told me, the person that I order them from, her husband told me one time when I went, he said, you know, you can put them in the refrigerator for like a month or 2 and then you don't have to keep coming. And I was like, oh my goodness, thank you for telling me. But I didn't do that because I hadn't been growing them all season. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put them all in there. But then I left them downstairs in the laundry room and then they just started growing. Anyway, so we're growing mushrooms right now. I brought this stuff from downstairs in the laundry room just cause it's cold down there. So I'm doing microgreens as well. I just used some seeds, some kale and some collard seeds. I did not go looking for microgreen seeds because honestly, that's all microgreen seeds are. You sow them heavily, and so that's why they sprout the way they do, but they are regular seeds for regular plants that we grow. I'm also growing microgreens, and I will grow more, but I'm just trying to ease myself into the things that I'm doing inside. And then of course, like I said, oh, that's open. I didn't want that open. We also have seeds. So I've also started my spring seeds. And so in January, they should have a decent amount of growth where I can put them out into the greenhouse, take care of them outside, and then start my seeds for summer in January. Peppers, things like that. Peppers and eggplants is what I'm planning to start in January inside. And those might stay too, because I still have a little bit of space. Of course, I'm growing a lot of peppers, but I'm not growing a lot of eggplant. So yeah, we have that going on inside as well. But that's all I have going on right now. Let's talk about some of the other things that I'm planning to do, some other things you can do that may inspire you, that may pique your interest. Okay, so let's get a little bit cozy. I've kind of turned my living room into my office, y'all. I'm still working on it. Anyway, get a little cozy, grab your little cup of coffee, tea, whatever, and we're gonna talk about some things that we can do in the winter while we're waiting for the weather, like while we're waiting for the weather to break again. It's so early because it's not even winter yet. I'm not gonna say that no more, y'all. Anyway, so one of the things that you may not know about are hydroponics growing systems. And so I was showing you, mine stay down in the laundry room. They are dusty. I did wipe off the top just for appearances, baby. But, and basically what you do with these is you fill this with water. It has a little fill line in the inside and it comes with nutrition. There's normally 2 bottles of nutrition. You put that in here and then these little things are your grow mediums. And so you drop them down into whatever type of like a cup that you have. You moisten this and then you plant your seeds in here. And you can literally grow inside all year. I have grown cilantro, peppers, tomatoes, lettuce. I've grown sunflowers. I've grown sunflowers in these during the winter months. And I normally really look forward to growing in these, but this year, I don't know if it's because I added so much stuff outside and I did a lot of extra this year that I'm just not feeling pumped right now. But I did want to come and tell you all about them because they are great ways to grow throughout the winter season. And so like this one, the light just moves up further and further. So you have the space that you need to grow something tall. I grew dwarf tomatoes tomatoes in here. But like this one, for instance, you can grow 2 plants, and this is what I did for my dwarf tomatoes, or you can grow several plants. Like I did lettuce in here, I think. I really remember. I've used them every year that I've had them so far. And this one is actually self-watering as well. So you put a container at the bottom and it will pull the water up for you when it needs more water. This one is not, but if you see, you can get a lot of space to grow some plants inside. And so I really like these. Another thing that you can do is literally get some lights, and I will show you my setup real quick, which I showed you if you didn't see that other video, so now I'll show you now. If you wanted to grow like lettuce or even like pea shoots, you could just get some lights and grow plants inside, and you don't have to do hydroponics. This just for me is a better way because I can keep it in my eyesight. The things downstairs, like my seedlings and stuff, I remember them at some point. And luckily, I still am able to grow seeds. These are in my eyesight in my kitchen. That's where I set my hydroponics grow systems up. And so I see them and I see that they are telling me they need water. And these actually come with an app. So the app will remind you too. But let me show you my downstairs area. That's a very simple setup that you can still grow lettuce in, cilantro, different herbs, things like that. If you don't have a window that gives you enough light. I personally do not have a window that gives me enough light. And so these types of things and the setup I'm about to show you is what I would need, or I would just have a bunch of leggy plants all over my house. Even before we go down into the laundry room, you could do something like this and set some lights up in it and also still grow inside. But this is my setup right here. And I can get seedlings and some soil up under these lights. You can also just set things up down here and be able to grow. And so that's a shelf and some shop lights from Walmart and bulbs from Walmart. And so you still could continue to grow. That's actually where these seedlings that's on this table go and where the microgreens grow. So if you're looking for options to grow, you can do that. Oh, also, let me show you the other one behind me. So this one is set up really cool because it's like furniture. So you don't have to find anywhere else to put it. It's like furniture and you are able to grow in here too. My only thing that I was not a fan of with that one is you can't move the lights up and down. So I tried to grow peppers in there and they grew amazingly, but then they started to hit the light. So this year when I set that one up, because I do think I'm gonna set that one up. If I don't set these up, I'm definitely gonna set that one up for one, because it's already in here. But this year, I'm probably gonna do cilantro. I personally love cilantro and cilantro grew very well in there. I put cilantro on everything. If I got it, I put it on French fries, I put it on chicken, I put it on whatever. I absolutely love cilantro. And I can just have it growing. I don't have to worry about preserving it because at the rate that I eat it, I'll just be pulling it and eating it, pulling it and eating it because I really like it. That stays up all year long, whether it's growing or whether it's not. Okay, so that's how I'm planning to grow this winter. But what else am I planning to do aside from learn how to offer merch? I'm so excited. I'm so excited, y'all. Anyway, what else am I planning to do? I mentioned before that you can get catalogs from the seed companies. I also mentioned that I'm not buying a lot of seeds this year, but it'll still be fun to look through here. But also, if I see something I really can't live without, I'll absolutely order it, but I don't think there's anything that I cannot live without. But the other place that I'll take time to look through is my seeds. I got this from Michael's. It is actually a photo keeper. I know that somebody's gonna ask. I've actually already started getting questions about this, but it's a photo keeper. And so it has other little containers in it. And so for me, I write right on them, but I know that some people make labels, things like that. And there's so many ways that you can decide how you wanna set these up. I set mine up by variety, but I've seen people who set it up based off when they need to start their seeds, what season the seeds are for. So you can do whatever you want to do with this. But now is a time where I would go through and start making sure that I have the seeds that I want and that I need. And so like, let's say, I know this is not the case, but let's say I was completely out of Cherokee Purple. Even though I've told myself I'm not buying seeds, I would absolutely buy Cherokee Purple because it's my favorite tomato. Let's say that I was out of Green Magic broccoli. I would order more Green Magic broccoli. And the end of the year is actually a good time to order seeds if you plan to start seeds. Let me also back up a little bit. You do not have to start seeds to be a gardener. It is, I guess, looked at as a flex now, but I buy plant starts with no problem as long as you are growing food. And I know one of the things things they say is it was grown with, you know, chemicals. But when you start to grow it and you grow it however you want to grow it, with chemicals or without chemicals, it is something you grew. So I want to go ahead and get that out the way. But if you are a seed starter, it's a perfect time to start looking through here, because seed companies, as I understand it, and stores cannot sell the seeds from the year before. And so with that being said, they go on sale. So this is a good time, clearance sales, things like that. I mentioned in the video last week the seed companies that I use. I pretty much will use anybody, but I will link that video to the few that I did mention. But I use all kind of seed companies. I don't think I mentioned Kids Seed Co. in that video. I don't think that I mentioned the big box store, because I will buy seeds from Lowe's and Home Depot too, which, you know, is like Burpee, Ferris Morris. I honestly don't care. I'm gonna buy my seeds wherever I can find the seeds that I want and where I can find them at a good price. Now, one of the things they say is you may not get the best germination. Some seed companies have better germination. That is probably true. I would never be able to tell you because I have never ever tested it. But anyway, it's a good time to think about your seeds if you have what you need, because it is nothing worse, in my opinion, in the gardening world. Of course, there's something worse. But in the moment that you're in, when you're starting seeds and you don't have that seed that you want, and then you gotta wait and order it or run out and look for it, oh, I don't love it. And so another thing that it's a good time for is to start planning. I have a notebook. It's a different notebook from last year, because if you remember, my notebook from last year got rained on and it was not salvageable. It got rained on several times, because after it got rained on the first time, I just left it where it was. So I have a new notebook, which unfortunately I'm gonna have to go and literally plan every bed again, like knowing how many square feet are in every bed, so I know how many seeds I have to start, which is not a big deal. I'm gonna live. But get you a good notebook. It's good for taking notes throughout the season. If you remember, I personally make these videos, and so I can go back to the videos, but it's also a good idea to write it down, or even do it electronically in your computer, your iPad, your tablet, however you want to do it, so that you can remember from year to year what worked, what didn't work, what you liked, what you didn't like. It's also a perfect time to go back and think about your summer garden. And if you, unlike me, took notes, it's a good time to go back and review that, because honestly, it depends on what state you're in, of course. It's almost time to start seeds again for the summer. Like I said, peppers, I start those in January because I want them to grow a little bit before I put them out. So it's a perfect time to do that as well. The other thing, which I do not do, I don't do it. If your soil is not frozen, it's a perfect time to go ahead and get your soil tested if that's something you want to do. So you know if it's something that you need to add for the spring. So like, it's a perfect time for that if your soil is not frozen. It's a perfect time to clean your containers if you want to. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, baby, because I really don't want to be outside. And I don't see myself doing it inside, but I'm pretty sure you just put it in your bathtub and clean them. It's the perfect time to decide, am I buying new start trays? Am I buying new seeds? Am I buying this? Am I buying that? Looking up the cost for those things, because we're in our down season, y'all. The down season also is a perfect time to just rest. I always leave that out when I do these types of videos, but you don't have to do anything that I'm saying. You could literally say, I'm putting my garden to sleep. I'm not growing hydroponically. I'm not growing mushrooms. I ain't doing no microgreens. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just gonna rest. Honestly, I wanted to try that. It just doesn't work for me. I really like to grow things. That's my video for today. It was not scripted. It probably would have been better if it was. But tell me in the comments, tell everybody in the comments, what do you do during the winter? Do you rest? Do you think about planning? Do you clean your containers? What do you do? I'm interested. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I have not been posting almost any day. Bye, y'all.